Hey everybody, this is the jump lunge or the plyometric lunge. A lot of different names for it. Before I show you this, if you are not comfortable lunging, you shouldn't attempt a plyometric really lunge or anything. You want to make sure that you can do a controlled version of that movement first. So if this is something that you have never done, go back and watch my video on the stationary lunge and make sure that's a movement you feel comfortable with. So I'm going to run clips, show you what these look like. There'll be some differences between this and the stationary lunge, so let me show you what these look like, and we'll break it down. Okay, so I'm going to pause it there because I'm going to show you a few variations if the jump switch is something that's not going to happen for you on the first try. Okay, first things first, this is a dynamic move. This is an explosive, really a plyometric is really the correct word to use, but I'm going to drop down at a pretty rapid pace. I'm dropping down, and then you can see my arms, I pull my arms backwards. I'm getting ready to jump, and then from here, I'm going to throw my arms. Both feet are going to press through the floor. I'm going to jump. Everything looks cooler in slow motion. And when I land, what I don't want to see is like a thud. You know, you really land on light feet. You can see that I'm landing on my back toes. And I'm going to use, I'm not the lightest guy in the world. When I come down, my legs are, they're strong. They're my shock absorbers. I'm going to land on soft legs. They're going to decelerate me. Let me put it this way. A lot of people say, hey, should your knees ever touch the ground? For this one, I'll go ahead and say no. But let me put it this way. If your knees are going to contact the ground, it doesn't really bother me as long as you don't feel it, I can't hear it. You should not be impacting the ground. So I kind of joke around and I say, if there was like a little baby kitten right underneath, right underneath, this little this downside knee, it's okay if you want to give it a little tap, make sure it's awake, but don't squish it, okay? So very soft impact with that knee. We don't want any kind of impact because A, it's not good for your body. It's just bad technique, but also it's really just rough. I mean, you don't want your kneecap smacking the ground. So I'm going to land. I have all this stored energy. I came in. This is a lot of energy stored up in these muscles now. The elastic component, the rubber band effect of my muscles now is going to just spring me right back up to the other side. So one thing I want to point out is what we're going to try to do, I don't want to see a lot of, let's say, forward or backward movement. What I mean by that is when I jump, I'm going straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. You can kind of see I haven't really moved off that line. My body is more loaded off this front leg, which is a little bit different than the stationary lunge. I'm okay with this, but one thing I want to point out is that this heel is flat. The only time it actually lifts off is when I jump, right? So if I land and my foot is too close to me and I go down and my heel picks up, that is too narrow of a stance. Some would argue that my stance needs to be wider, and that, I'm not going to say that's right or wrong, it's just slightly different. But my thing is this, that heel has to stay down, because if that heel picks up during the lunge portion of this, your knee is going to be shifted way too far forward, and that's going to really not feel good on you either during the exercise or at least in the long run. So what I'm going to show you is, let's say that you're having trouble, you're jumping, but either you're tired or maybe you don't have the jumping strength to do a switch midair. One thing I can do is I can go here, I'm landed, I'm going to jump, and I'm going to catch myself in a little jump rope stance. Jump, jump, and then lunge. Okay, so that's just a nice little, I'll call it a regression for the movement, so you don't have to go immediately into switching. Jump, hop, hop, next lunge. If that's like, okay, that's not too bad, I can do that. What I can do is I can do the same thing, but just do it with one hop in the middle. Jump, bounce, lunge, jump, lunge. So I'm going to run this in full time so you can kind of see what the regression looks like, okay? Okay, so again, this movement is it's fairly simple, but at the same time, this is one where I see a lot of people doing a lot of plyometric work when they haven't really mastered the foundation of the movement. if you're doing these things and while you're jumping, when you jump down, let's say I jump, boing, here's my jump, I'm switching my legs, and now I'm coming down. When I land, if I see this, see how my, you know, we'll say there's a slight lean forward, but my spine is straight, I'm over my hips still. If I see this, a huge lean forward, what that tells me is that, hey, maybe my legs are strong, but maybe all the muscles, you know, the muscles of my trunk that are keeping my spine upright, maybe they need to be stronger in proportion to my leg strength. So if I see a collapse, like a huge lean forward, or what I really don't want to see is the spine literally bending, you know, really either way. This is something that maybe you need to put off until you can build the intrinsic core strength to stay over your body. So again, if you haven't seen my video on the stationary lunge, check that one out first. But this is a nice little variation. Again, if you don't have access to weights and you need to get a workout in, this is a you will feel these the next day if you do them correctly and you do enough of them. Fantastic plyometric work, great for conditioning. Let's say explosive strength, plyometric strength when done certain ways. The benefits of this are awesome. Okay, give these a try if you're ready. Let me know how it goes.